Well, we took that to another layer, to another level. But let's not go there first. I want you to know that. Let me describe the people that are probably here. My ideal person is somebody that has a full-time job or their schedule is full to a degree to where they cannot spend a lot of time doing homework. They need somebody to share the homework with them, which is what I do. In fact, just before this, I just had time to go refuel on my energy. And because for 2 hours and 10 minutes this morning, just like every Sunday, we met and did homework for the group. And then I recorded those into 3 videos and I shared them already with the group. So let's say you're one of those people that do not have the time or skills in order to do homework. I did that for you. And that's part of the service. And part of it is I also share trade ideas that I like. So if you want to sit back and get an alert or two a day, 3 to 5 a week, just do that. And if you have a question about those, you can pop into a normal looking chat room where there's no noise, nobody sharing anything. It's just a chat room going back and forth like a Slack. And you can ask follow-up questions or present some tickers that you might want to discuss. Like I'm looking at the room right now, there's some messages in there that I need to go answer. So this is the typical old school services. And we've been doing that since 2011. Well, a few years ago, I took it to the next level and I said, what would happen if I shared my screen like 3 hours a day? I said, I'll try that for 3 days. And since then, we have not stopped. And it's not 3 hours a day, it's every day. So you're thinking, oh, you don't have time to do that. That's fine. We thought of that. That's why we didn't modify it to where we eliminated everybody else. So the old school service is still there. This is an added layer for those who are lucky enough to have time to spend with me. And we have had 250 to 320 every day for years. And so what's the point of it? The point of it is it's an ongoing learning process. If somebody wants to learn something, all they have to do is just dedicate 10 minutes, pop into the live room, say, hey, give me a lesson. And it could be as simple as what is a call? What does it put? What does it mean to short a stock? How would you short the stock? Or, hey, I got it signed. Or I bought into a stock and it just fell off a cliff. What do I do? Or I'm thinking of getting into the stock. What do you think? I mean, how easy is that? You get a lesson, you get an opinion, you get 300 opinions, 250 opinions. If you're making a mistake, let's say you pop in and you tell me you're going stock ABC long, and if I don't know the stock, one of 250 people does know the stock, and they might tell you, oh no, don't do that. You should read about. I'm just saying, what are your odds? Are your odds better alone or odds better with 300 people watching your back? And if you join our group, whether you can be in our room or not, you've got 300 people that have your back every day. You can rest assured. Like right now, I hear a beep on my screen. I can go into the chat room, and I was going to, and then it was time for me to come here. There's a thing going on with Ethereum that we should pay attention, and that's a longer conversation. Why do I care about Ethereum? Because believe it or not, crypto is part of the conversation. So there is no service like this ever. So you cannot compare it to other services. Your prices are low. First of all, prices are low. Second of all, there's no comparative. There's no comparable. Like if you go to sell a house and the house is 30,000 square feet and every house around it is 1,500 square feet, you can't say you're more expensive than your neighbor. There's no comp. Nobody. And so that makes my life a lot more difficult operationally, but so rewarding. Like, you can't imagine the joy I get from spending time in the room. I'm on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast, and my alarm. You can read my alarm. Weekend is 5. So I love it. If I didn't love it, there's no way I would do this. Okay. You see a lot of lines on my charts, and that might intimidate people, but trust me, it's better to have more lines than fewer, especially if somebody walks you through them. All right. So hopefully by the end of the day, we will give you enough information to get you piqued your interest. So let me describe your situation. I'm going to guess. Now tell me who here, put a one if what I'm saying, you can put it as I'm saying it, strikes a chord. Okay? Let's start there so I know what kind of people I have in the room. First of all, if I have my members in here, what the hell are you doing here? Thank you for your support. I really look. Satish is already saying one. I haven't said anything yet. Okay, I appreciate you. So check this out. Okay, the only reason why people okay Dan why people are here is because, and if they're not members, hi Oyuki, I know you, is because they recognize there is a need for pursuit of more information. So they must see problems. Why? There are symptoms. Okay, I'll tell you the popular symptoms. I get in too soon, I get out too late. As soon as I take something, it goes around against me, and as soon as I bail on it, it turns around and fixes itself. You can put a one every if you hear anything that is remotely close to what happens to you. So, or I choose the stock and then it gets downgraded, or it got downgraded, so I sold it and it turned around and rally, or it got upgraded and I chased it like Oxy, and I'm buried in Oxy. If any of this stuff is you, you're not alone. Those are symptoms. So we all have similar journeys. Everybody wants to be independent. And I don't mean financially independent. Of course, that is part of it. But you want to be independent to where it's like, hey, you don't want to work today? You don't have to work today, period. So that's the independence. Like if I'm not sharing, helping people, I work whenever I want just because that's the life I built for myself. So we want to get there. So that's the journey. We want to be more independent. We want to have more free time. We want to be less dependent on the surroundings. So along the way, we have challenges and we have to overcome them by acquiring new knowledge. So there's this group, our group. Okay. Our group is there to help us get there. And we have lessons throughout. You're going to hear a few things I'm going to drop on you here today, and appreciate it. So I'm here to tell you, though, I'm here to kind of piss you off a little bit, that it doesn't hurt me very much if you join or not, but I think it has more severe consequences on you if you actually need to improve something. And I can tell you that you would do better with a group than on your own. That is a fact. And I'm also here to tell you that our group is open to everybody, and we don't have one jerk in the group. Not one. We did have one, but that was like a year ago, and he's gone. And so there is a resolution to that conflict that you have. You want to get there, you have hiccups, and you don't know what to do. This time, it's very important to not be trading alone because we have. I did not pay Butch. I did not pay him. I swear I did not pay him. So it's very important that we be ready for what's coming. So let's talk a little bit of macro. Somebody said, teach me something. Okay. Best week ever. And I'll tell you why. Because we've been trading common sense, and we've been trading against the grain because we don't want to be caught long. And it's a lot what's coming. Yeah. It's a lot easier to win on the downside than it is to the upside, which means it's a lot more painful on dips because of several reasons. The accelerator effect. You've got your stock falling and the VIX exploding, so everything gets elevated in price from the implied volatility. And on top of it, you have falling prices. So there's like an accelerator. It's like an exponential increase in an exponential decrease in call premiums and an exponential increase in put premiums. So if you're short, you're exploding in profits, and if you're long, your longs are dead. So very important to navigate the next couple of weeks very delicately. So let's look at what just happened. We just had a pretty gnarly week. I'll go here and I'll go to the SPY. And let me tell you that this is we're falling into arrows we've drawn for a while. We had a correction in April, similar to this. I'm going to do a full video, 5 minutes for the members tonight. So if you join, you too will get that video. In it lays out the differences between this correction and April and the potential similarities between now and 2021. Just go back and look at the charts and see what happens after those statements. So I'm not saying load up short or load up long. I'll have a very delicate message, but I'm here to tell you how to manage risk. What I don't do is I don't buy this dip like it's the other dip. Okay. Not yet. I don't load up on puts in panic. Hi, Rabia. You had some good questions, Rabia, today. I don't load up on puts in panic. In other words, I don't start shorting like this was the end of it. And I don't pile into, say, NVIDIA because it hit 100 and that's the bottom. Okay. So what do? If I'm not long something like NVIDIA, I could consider a long in NVIDIA a little bit. Okay. And I manage my open risk. Let me share with you a few trade setups that I had open for us. We were long JP Morgan puts. You know the company, JP Morgan. And the trade was very simple. Let me open up a window. We'll go to JP Morgan. You don't have to watch the lines like the actual dollar signs, but where are my drawings? Did I have them here? I thought I had lines. Okay. So I've been short JP Morgan and we bought puts somewhere up here. I don't remember. It wasn't a perfect entry. In other words, the stock went higher. So the trade went red and green and red and green. And this on Friday, I closed my position because it went, I forget, I was more than double my money in the end. And it was a simple options trade. If anybody knows options, they know the basics of, okay, I can buy a put, I can buy a call. Well, if you follow the trade by I can buy a put, boom, you more than double your money, or just about. And I got out. And that's just one simple trade. But I got a lot of flack for it. And JP Morgan made a run to make another higher high. And I would say in the live room, go ahead, do it. And I'd be like talking to JP Morgan stock. And it was a symptom. The QQQ, the high tech companies, the best companies on the planet were falling. And we were leading the market up with banks. Berkshire leading the market up? No. Okay. So that is one trade that I exited. KRE also took a lot of flack for it. These are my arrows on KRE. So I went long and it went higher against me. And I got messaged, what do I do? What do I do? I said, I didn't even look at my trade and I was going to add. I didn't add. And then this happened. So I closed that one as well because an amazing profit. It was a huge win. Imagine buying straight up puts and that was a trade. Just buy puts. And then this happens. Your puts will be extremely hot. And it's a lot of money. And it's an easy money. If you just have a little bit of conviction. I'm pretty damn good with charts. And I have pretty good logic. I'm not an idiot. So putting two together, this was an easy trade for me. I'm out because I'm still short a bunch of other stuff. Like what? Like Goldman Sachs. I didn't even check the chart of Goldman Sachs. Here's your first lesson. Why can anybody here tell me why I chose to book profits in KRE and not in JP Morgan and not Goldman Sachs? I'm still short. Quickly, members, you should be able to say that. So this is the kind of stuff we do. Nope, not the Fed. So we take positions, we discuss them. Somebody comes up with an idea, somebody has the opposite idea, we debate, we come to a conclusion, and it's bulletproof because you know your business. Ken, high five. I love that answer. No. Reduce risk, Rizwan, kind of. No, I'll tell you why. It's the nature of my trade. The other two trades was I bought a put. Okay. Now, if the stock is hitting into support and it rallies a little bit, I start losing quickly. The Goldman Sachs short was I sold calls. So the nature of the risk, if you're looking at my screen, if you buy a put and the stock drops, you make a lot of money. Okay. But if the stock doesn't drop, you lose money. Well, for Goldman, unlike the other two where I did that, I sold calls. I said Goldman is not going to be above X. So that's how I made my money. I collected the maximum I can make. And as long as Goldman doesn't do this, I win. So it can bounce or not bounce. Time is my friend, and I'm making money from time ticking. So I left that trade on. If you want to learn those tricks where you take a bet and you get paid for it, and all you need is time passing. So you see what the decision making process? I booked a schmut ton of money on the other ones that dropped into support. This one is not going to turn around and screw me. Not likely. So I left Goldman on. And so that's a quick lesson for you like that. Okay. So the nature of the risk. So for you people who are, I have like 10 minutes before I have to hand it over and start answering questions. Hopefully, I gave you the idea that, by the way, those trades, you did not need to be in the live room in order to get those trades. I wrote them up and I sent them out. I posted them in the chat room, which I don't know if I have the window open for it anyway. I posted them in the chat room. It's a static chat room. And there you had time to review it. The next day you take it, it doesn't matter. So it's like this. This is the chat room. So I have a place where I'm posting messages where they don't scroll off, and you will get one of those setups. These are all trades or trade updates. So this is a static chat room. So this is someone saying thank you for the live room. So this is a static chat room. You pop in any point in time. There's no noise. It's quiet. And so those trades were just sent out. And sometimes also, if you say, tell Benzinga to send you an email, you may get it in an email, but it's right there, fresh from my own words into the chat room. Now, the live room, which is a setting like this one minus my video, you can watch my screen, that's open all day, every day. Other things we do is trade the earnings. For example, on Thursday night, there are a whole bunch of companies reporting earnings. And part of my job for me is to go through all the options the day of the earnings and seeing if I have clues as to where a stock is going to close. Just to let you know that we know our stuff, I looked into Apple, and as I was reading the Apple options, like within 30 minutes of the close, I cussed in Spanish, and I'm not a Spanish speaking person because I saw some clues and was like, whoa, 220 is where they want to be. And it closed pennies away from 220 on Friday with all the craziness. So we know what we're doing with regards to options, and I can teach you, well, you can learn from me every day. I share this knowledge, chart knowledge every day, all day, to the point where if you want to trade fast, good luck finding a better room. We go in and it's just not just me. There's a bunch of people that trade and they offer entries and exits, details, entries and exits. Let me see if I can find a couple of statements from you. Oh, here's one that this one is from May. I like this because Philip goes in here and he goes, "This is so much fun. I wish I could be here every day." I mean, how beautiful is that? This is so much fun. I wish I could be here. Clearly, Philip has another life. Here's Linda shares entries and exits, simple SPX, buy, call, buy, put. And usually, this is what they're looking at my screen on the left. I say enter here, exit here, and I usually suggest what I would buy or sell. Here's another one from February. I got out at 15%. That was Jay. There are a few I want to stop at. Thanks, Nick. And let's see here. Oh, so here's Lynn. She sees a post from somebody else and she said, "Can you explain what this person shared?" And this person said they bought something for $4 and they sold it for $7. And they were asking me if I can explain it. So other people are also trying to teach. Of course, I'm watching every word that comes out, so I make sure everything's quality. Here, somebody speaking to me in French, 25% on. So look at my screen, okay? I put arrows and I say, okay, resistance, support, question marks, X. If this happens, that happens. So you get fast trading guides or learning. And Let's see here, Frank. Thanks, exactly 100%. I'm looking for specific comments that just came out. Okay, this is my first day positive FOMC. You're welcome, Henry. I'm going to start from the end. There was a comment that came yesterday. I thought I wanted to. There it is. All right. So this person came to me and said, "Hi, you should be smiling big this morning." That was this week, either Friday or Saturday. Thursday or Friday when the market dropped, and all your predictions came through. Well, I've been preaching the same thing to the point where a friend of mine said, "Enough already. You've told us that like 100 times." I said, "Yes, because I have new people come in. I have to repeat it 100 times. I sound like a jerk, but it's worth repeating." So even a friend got pissed off at me because hearing the right thing 100 times over. And then they asked me here, I am here pondering how do you know these things and how I can learn. You can learn by just listening and reading my material and watching my videos. I promise you, I teach you everything every day. I don't mind you knowing more than me because that just means I have to keep learning. Okay, so I said, whatever. I said, I'm an open book. I share my screen every day. He goes, yes, agreed. So um, over the past few months, this is his words. I've come to realize that you have an excellent understanding of the market and expert at technicals. I am an expert at technicals, and I worked hard for it. Nobody taught me this stuff. I had bits and pieces, put it all together, and the fundamentals are there as well. So you will be in good hands. I won't sling BS your way. I'm not incentivized by Wall Street at all. And you can see the dates on these. They're scattered. This one's in June. The other one was yesterday. This one was in May. And you can go back years and I can show you a bunch of these. I made $600 in US today. There you go. Boom. Dude, you helped me so much this morning. This person traded with me in his head when I wasn't in there. He was trying to do something and he said no. Nick would say this guy quit everything, retired, and moved out of the country. I'm trying to remember something like Transylvania or something. I don't know, some weird country like that, but he definitely is trading professionally now, and I don't believe he's even 30. So that's way to go there. All right. Have I tracked wins and losses? Meredith, really, that's the question? Okay, I did last year. I think my winning ratio was 91% of trades won, but it doesn't matter, okay? Because I'm here to make you money, not me. I would trade differently than sharing all these trades I share because I have my own special way of trading, and I do share the easy layups. So you can rest assured that my goal is to keep my winning ratio between 88 and 92% of my trades winning. Now, the key is to control those 10% you lose on. And if you stop out, you will do well. I'll give you an example. We had one trade go bad, and this morning somebody asked me about it, and we went through the math, and it's not a disaster. So if somebody manages their losses that way, then they can do well in the long run. All I care is cash on cash return. Is my account headed in the right direction? Yes, then that's it. If you consider that, if you're going to judge me based on my scoreboard, you missed everything I just said. Okay? Everything I just said. You can be in my room and make a ton of money and not take any of my trade. None. If you can just be there because it's a winning room, whether I give you the contribution or not doesn't matter. I do bust my back to get you the contribution, and I'm looking at Goldman Sachs, and I need to put on. I'm watching a candle that's pretty important. The lessons are the best part because I love them. Like somebody would say, "Why did you draw this here?" And if we were during the day, I would tell you why. But here we don't have time. Okay. So easy trades: buy a put, buy a call, winners. More complicated trades, super winners. The Goldman Sachs is slightly more complicated, and I have so many shorts on the market that I'll give you an example. If you were in the live room, I shared a trade that I did not share in writing because it was too dangerous, but I was able to explain it to people that are in there. There's no way I can explain it in writing. I have to verbally explain it. It's $100 wide bear call spread on the NASDAQ that paid $2,800 per contract. That's going to be my trade of the year for me, okay? Because that paid about $1,500 per contract so far, and it still has 1,200 to go. So trades like this are available. Modest variations are available. If you've heard of JP Morgan's collar, they do 1.25. Very famous trade, collar. As soon as somebody said, "Hey, have you traded the JP Morgan collar?" I said, "No, but let's do it." And I shared it and I wrote it up, and you had plenty of time to do it. And that trade is super profitable. It was two pieces. One is bearish by saying you can't go above a certain level. One is bearish by saying I think you should drop to a certain level. And that trade is free money. If somebody did it right, it costs them nothing to do, and it's just pure profits. And I'm looking at it. The put spread is 98% of its maximum gains. So it paid. I should have closed this on Friday, but I didn't. I was busy. The call spread, the bear call spread is down. So it is delivered almost 60% of its maximum gains. So I collected money to do one thing, and with the money I paid to do one thing, and both won. It's a sweet trade. And that one is a different style of trader. My style. Those are my trades. Okay. The buy puts, buy calls, they're not my trades, but they are exciting when you hit it. And sometimes I pick a fight with a stock that beats me and I say, I'm done. Like Micron, it beat me. I struggled and struggled and struggled and finally eked out a profit, but I still said that it would correct, and it did. So I got vindicated, and I know there are at least 3 people that kept shorting it when I wasn't, and they should be very, very profitable by now. And I'm not sorry at all I missed it. And you can see my arrows. It more than delivered. Okay, so I guarantee you, nobody asked me about Micron here on Friday. Everybody's asking me about Micron on the way up. Nobody here. Like, you guys need to flip the fear on its head. We're about time to where Rodrigo needs to answer a few questions. I wish I can talk more. Butterfly trades every day. Iron butterflies, maybe 2 a day. Iron condors every day. Some are 0 DTE, some are whenever DTE you want. And if you don't know what that is and you want to learn it, it's a way to make $100 a day, $50 to $100 a day out of $400 risk. Rodrigo.
Right. Those are some good strategies there. So thanks a lot for this. And first question I'm getting here is yes, there's a 30-day money back guarantee on the program, all the packages. That is correct. Next question here. No, the Benzinga Pro is only included in the lifetime, right? And the lifetime is not on the checkout. It used to be there. You just have to call in or email and manually process it. We'll put the details in the Zoom chat. Next question here that we have. What is the schedule for Nick? So Nick is in the live room from about 9 to 5 p.m. Eastern. All right. So the whole day. Sunday from 10 to 12 Eastern, Monday 6 to 7 p.m. And this is via conference call, like video call. There's a video call where he is basically showing you talking. It's the best way to learn. It's the best way to learn and to trade with somebody, right? Next question here that we have. So you're going to get about 8 to 12 email trades per month. And then separately, the day trades, 3 to 5 minimum in the live video call, right? Which is 9 to 5 p.m. Even if you can only trade for a couple of hours, you can do that. So with that, I think we covered most of the questions. Nick, is there anything you want to add to that on your end?
Get used to the service. A lot of you have never seen anything like it, and you might feel overwhelmed. I promise you, the content is repetitive, and the words are repetitive, and the concepts are repetitive. And after a couple of weeks, you start eliminating, mystery words or and mystery concepts. So don't give up too soon. Don't give up too soon. Okay. Anybody in Florida? I'm hearing there's some issues with weather there. I hope you're safe. Okay. Um, I don't know about that. You're in Miami? Yeah, I don't know where Hurricane Debbie. Okay. As far as process, every day I send out a note before the day opens And if you're trading actively, you will get lines as well and 5 charts to help you trade your day. Hopefully, you join us so you can trade it live with us. If you're working, you'll read it and you'll know what you need to do with your account, if anything. And every day during the day, I send out almost every day a note saying, here's what's going on and here's what I think I can trade today. There are some days where I do nothing because it's inappropriate. However, every day I'm open to doing something. If you just want it, hop in and say, hey, Nick, I'm looking to trade this stock, or I'm holding this stock and it reports earnings tonight. Anything I can do to protect myself, then we can discuss it. So that's the daily occurrence. And the room is open. I am in the room in the 4s, so 7 something I'm in there, but I'm not committing to it. I more often than not start talking an hour before the market opens, but I don't commit to it. And sometimes I lose my voice because I'm talking too much, so I don't talk until the market opens. And once the market opens, we're talking all day. And if there are earnings, we stick around until after the earnings are played out. And so that's the day-to-day ins and outs. The trades can be whatever you want. I share mine. We share fast, in and out, in and out. I'll show you an example. So actually, okay, let's go to the Friday, 1 minute. Okay, and we're usually trading on faster than 1 minute. You can see here how up on August 1st, I said, let's get short, and look at what happened thereafter. And then once we fell here, I drew support and resistance. And these squiggly marks, if you believe it or not, those yellow squiggly marks are have been pivotal, and I've been moving them. They're very meaningful. So I walk everybody through every tick every day. Like here, I said, maybe we bounce and then we come down to this level. We did bounce twice and we came down to this level. And then when we recovered, I would say here, I wouldn't start longs. We're going into a prior fail. And look at where we're at. Sorry, I'm answering a family friend. So the idea is to not do anything willy-nilly. I have 2,500 in my account. Can I trade options in your class? Yes. Should you bet all of it? No. Jason, so here's my take on how much money do you need to be in my class? You said class. I love that. High five yourself. Give me a high five right now. Give me a high five. This is for Harris or Hadris. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because they said class. Well, if you go to class, you should play with funny money. Invest the money. If I only had $2,500, I wouldn't trade with it. I would pay for a class. I would learn it and save another $2,500 to trade with it. Because you don't pick up a rifle and go to war. You pick up a rifle and go learn how to shoot, and then you go to war. Okay. So yes, 2,500 is big enough. So I opened an account, a relatively small account, not to insult anybody's relatively small, but I opened a $10,000 account with a broker I didn't know, and I grew it. So it is doable. The more money you have in the trading account, the easier it is to trade. The less time sensitive you are, the less accurate you have to be. But if I had a $2,500 account and I wanted to make a living actively trading, or the opportunity to make $100 a day, I would use iron condors and see or iron butterflies, and they risk between $250 and $400 per trade, and they have the opportunity to pay $50 to $150 to $200 a day. So that seems like a good risk reward. And all I have to do is just stop out before I make maximum loss on one of those every day. So that would be a way to do it. Or if you're very patient, you can take a couple of trades at a time, 3, 4, 5 trades at a time, one contract each, make $40 to $80 each. And if they work out, you close one and you roll it out into another one. But that takes time. I'm okay with time. Because I'm in a position where, okay, I don't have a job, as they say, but I have enough saved up that I don't need to generate income this month. in order to pay my bills. So if you have 2,500 and you're telling me you need to make enough money to live off of it, that's an unrealistic expectations. You could, but that you might as well go to Vegas. Those are the same odds. You can take trades that will risk that much and make that much, but that's the odds of Vegas. That's not me. You can go if you're a good gambler, do it in Vegas. Okay. You signed up right now for lifetime? Holy crap. All right. Oh, you signed up already. Okay, then pop into the live room and ask me those questions. We'll discuss them for hours. Steven says, a lot of my stocks are down. I'm waiting on Monday to determine if I sell them. I sold one stock at 2,500, slowing my. Okay, so to that, I'm guessing you bought your stocks recently at all-time highs. So I've been saying for months, markets are at all-time highs. I'm not buying any stocks. I should be tactically trading up and down. What does that mean? I can buy an opportunity to trade from point A to point B tactically. Like for example, give me your biggest loss, Stephen, or the biggest stock you have, and then we'll use it as an example and how I would have saved you your money. Give me your stock and where you bought it. You don't tell me how much you lost. Just tell me what stock it is and at what price you bought it. Okay, we'll use you as an example of how you could have saved money just listening to my annoying words. Okay. So if in case you don't know me, I've been accused of being a perma bull. I'm always looking for something to buy on the dip, right? Until the markets go crazy and they go to high heaven, and um and then I have nothing. There are no bargains. I'm not gonna buy the high heaven. I let you buy it with your money. Okay, AMC at 35. Good grief. Yeah, that's not. Okay, AMC. We're not going to even discuss. AMC management belongs in jail as to what they did for the people. NVGS. Never heard of it. That's perfect. I've never heard of it. What is this? Navigator. What? Holdings. Interesting. What do they do? Owns and operates a fleet of hand-sized liquefied gas carriers. Ooh. So it's a not gas trade? Okay. Um, so where did you enter? At 15.7. Oh, you just got in. Oh, 16.55. Questionable zone. Depends where you got it in. Here, I said when. When did you buy it? July 31st. Here. Okay. So not a crazy mistake, by the way. Okay. So they bought the stock on a bounce on July 31st, and they got it at that price right there. So they're stuck in this candle, and they got two really red candle thereafter. So first bit of good news. First, don't get me started with that comment right there. Don't you're saying something silly here, Stephen. All right, are you a member already? No, no apologies. Are you a member? This is funny. Well, not funny that you're losing money, but this conversation is funny. Are you a member of the inner circle? You're new. Okay, well then pop into the live room so we can discuss it, not to waste a lot of time. This rally back, if you had asked me, I would have said, wait, it's going back into a problem area. He's not going to drop anything. That's my take. J&J, buy long put, J&J. Sure. I would short J&J, yes, but with stops in mind. Like take half of the position and add to it if they get up to here and then stop out at 30% loss. Teledoc 2021. Ouch, Jane. Ouch. Oh, don't add. Don't add. No, no. Okay. So don't add. I don't add in companies that are not proven. Okay. So also, I want to tell you something. Jane, listen to this. This is a lesson going forward for everybody else. This is a mistake that people do, especially the gang that started trading during the pandemic. I call them the pandemic traders. It sounds like an insult, but it isn't. It's an identifier. Somebody that got on board where you could have gone like this, threw a dart and made money. Okay. And I started getting members. I haven't had one in a long time, thank God, that come in and say, I DCA'd. DCA'd. Anybody know what that means? I DCA'd it. Anybody know that? Okay, thank you if you don't know. It's an acronym for dollar cost average. If you use it enough that you need an acronym for it, oh boy, I tell you one thing flat out. I don't know one actual professional trader that's successful that dollar cost average anything. Okay, the only time they dollar cost average is when they say, okay, I want to buy a call in this, I want to buy 100, 200 shares, and I'm starting with 100. And then they add the other 100 later in time. That is okay. But to take the 200 and then decide that you want to double your problem. For example, let's use you, Jane, not to be offensive or anything. I'm going to make the assumption, you don't have to set me straight. This is a fictitious assumption that in 2021, you bought it at 136. Okay, so we go to 1 week. You bought it at 136. And clearly you have had a problem on your hands. And then you added more at 22. So you decided to take your biggest problem and make it bigger. Okay, so I would not add any more to it. It is what it is. Tough trade. You weren't alone. Okay, there are thousands of people stuck in the same one. Okay, thoughts on CrowdStrike? Avoid. You don't want to deal with it. CrowdStrike. Okay, so I guess we're taking tickers. Rodrigo, if you oppose, let me know. If not, we'll just do tickers. Enough of me talking. So stop. I don't want you to give me tickers with no context. I want you to give me tickers, but tell me what. Like, I'm looking to go long. I am long. I'm stuck in shorts and whatever. Give me context. So when somebody says, my thoughts on CrowdStrike, if I own it, I'm stuck. If I'm looking to own it, I wouldn't, because this is a stock that is going to have litigation. There is no doubt in anyone's mind as to who's at fault here, and it's only CrowdStrike. They weren't hacked. They did something dumbass, and it cost billions of dollars to other companies. There is no doubt that they will have legal repercussions. What's the next headline? I don't know. So study the situation. Technically, it's not that cheap. I can see it going down to 140 and still be okay. It broke out from 160 not too long ago. Why is it still up here? They damaged NVIDIA more than this one. So not for me. Micron, why is it dropping? Why was it rallying? uh, I never hunt the why. The fact that I told you it was outrageously expensive at the top should have scared you into booking your profits. Okay. So let me scroll up and come back down one at a time. MSTR, sell a put or sell a call? Yes, to both. If I wanted to trade MSTR, I'd sell a put and a call. But you got to know what you're doing. That stock will not take any prisoners. That stock will cause you to lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing. MSTR. I'm not going to share numbers because it's up to you. Opinion on Ethereum. I just showed you a beep on Ethereum. So there is a correction coming in Bitcoin potentially. Bitcoin faked out a bunch of bulls, including very strong chartists. I've been listening to friends of mine that are chartists and like lurking in the background, and their tone changed last week. They were saying, I can't wait for this dip. Don't get shaken out. It's coming. It's coming. We're going to explode in three things. One, crypto. Two, the stock market. Three, the TLT. And I'm thinking to myself, those three are not going to come together, my friend. One of them is going to be an exception. And guess what? One, stock market fell. Two, crypto fell. 3, the TLT exploded higher. I was spot on, but I didn't say anything to anyone because they're friends of mine and I respect them. But their tone changed last week. They said, "Oh, you don't want to touch that. Let's see where they go." Ethereum, I'm long from 1,000. I booked a lot of profits at 4,000 or whatever it was the high. Solana, I'm long from 10. I booked a lot of profits at 77 or 150 something or 190 something, and 208 was the highest sell. And I hold core positions in that and Ripple. And I'm not selling, but I will buy the crap out of the next dip. Ethereum, give it room. If you're investing in crypto over the long term, like gold, then you just take a little bite. I think you will have entries that are lower than here. I don't know what lumen is. I know what a lumen is. Is this a light bulb or something? Lumen radio. What is it? Lighting and internet things. Okay. What about it? Do you want to short it? Why? I wouldn't short this one. It's inside of support. This candle shows a lot of buyers. And if they lose 88, maybe they go to 65. But until then, you have a buyer from here down to 88. So be careful. Carvana, time to short. I don't trade Carvana. Junk stock. Junk stock. But it is shortable, yes. Yes. Technically shortable as long as it's below the high. So you're shorting against the last candle. And the stop out level would be 164. 164. Don't stop out before 164. If you're trading a short that is got a couple of weeks on the map. Okay, Carvana, Schlumberger. I don't trade Schlumberger. Schlumberger is falling into support. Should find support. If Schlumberger loses 43, exit. It's probably going to 33. I don't know. Huge head and shoulders. The downside scenario is too big to say it's going to come to fruition because it says 23. Let's split the difference and go to 35. How about that? Okay, how about I rephrase? If it loses 43, it risks losing, coming to 38-ish. Why is Micron dropping? Did you ask people why was it rallying? So somebody that says, why is Micron dropping? My question, I was screaming, why is it rallying? Up 75% when your sales are down 40%. Makes no freaking sense. Oh, you don't understand, Nick. This is about the future. Okay, how about show me? How about show me? Don't tell me. Anyway, so that was an epic short. Aaron, if you're here, high five. Hopefully you hung in there longer than me. I gave up on Micron. I could have made a fortune, but I gave up. Now, if you want to get long Micron into 80 is the place where I would engage with it. I wouldn't touch it because the sales are inconsistent. Like they're the only gig in town and they can't keep their sales up, 1 year. I don't understand it. So they had 2 good quarters. Hopefully they deliver a third one next time they report. If it is, then I'll stop. I will tone my rhetoric on it. AMD and Intel. I wouldn't touch Intel. I would not. I said, here's my take on Intel. Somewhere here, when it fell, I said, I give up on Intel. I used to say it's an investment, blah, 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 blah. By the way, it forecasted the drop and it met it. And I was like, for a second, I said, okay, I'll buy the dip. But this earnings report right there in last April was the final straw. I was like, I see nothing from this company, but experts in my group that know semiconductor told me, no, Intel has a good future. So turn around, whatever. I was like, I'm done. They're showing me nothing. And then when this happened, they said, see? I was like, okay. But I was done with it. And then when it fell back to here, they said, when it was here, I said, Intel may not hold 30 based on the chart if it doesn't recover. And look at it now. I didn't foresee 20, but I definitely said I would walk away from Intel. And folks, for a company that large to cut the dividend completely, not leave a penny, double check that fact. Somebody in the room said they didn't leave a penny. Why is this important, that penny? Because there are funds out there that are not allowed to own a stock if it doesn't pay a dividend. So that means they have to sell that out of their portfolio. I don't know how soon they do that. So if they didn't leave a penny on the dividend, there should be, that's a disappearing bid Okay, where's the buyer going to come from? So this company is dominant on the street, but is dying. It is literally dying. They don't have an answer to how the market has changed. They were so focused on AMD, they didn't even see NVIDIA coming. And just think about it. Up until recently, I don't know exactly when that happened, this company was larger than AMD and NVIDIA put together twice. If you added up the other two and you doubled them, they were smaller than it. And look at it now. So they cut spending. How do you recover if you're not spending? So they're basically waiting to die. What is the path forward? If I'm long, I'm not panicking out. If I wanted to get long, I'm okay. There's somebody saying, I'm going to buy some shares. Expect lower prices, sell a put to own shares. There's not a lot of premium, and don't go all in. Can I buy NVIDIA? Okay. Are you long NVIDIA? If the answer is yes, no, I would not add to NVIDIA. If I'm not long NVIDIA, and by the way, this is so true. I shared this with the group. When NVIDIA was 100 before the split, nobody wanted it. Now that it was 1100 and 1200, whatever it was, everybody wants to buy it. Okay. And now nobody's asking about it except you, Marco. Good job. So NVIDIA, here are my arrows for NVIDIA. Okay. They all came to fruition. And um, the fact that they jumped 1 penny above it. So right here, there's a day where it came down to like 106. I sent out a note saying, I'm selling a put in NVIDIA because that was ridiculous. So I did that. And then immediately after that, it's going long without actually buying anything. And I got paid almost $300 for it. And within minutes, I sent out another version for a smaller account. I said, well, if I don't want to commit to that, I can change the trade and make it look like this. So I can still make 15 to 20% reward on my risk without a lot of hassles. Within an hour, I want to say within 30 minutes, the stock had bounced really quickly that day. And I said, you know what? I have a rule. Every time I get profits, 40% of my maximum profits within a short period of time, and there's a long period of time on the trade, I exit. And I did. So I would resell puts in NVIDIA if I didn't have it. So the question was, can I get long NVIDIA? If you're not long already, I would take 30% of my shares. So if I wanted to buy 200 shares, I would buy 1/3 and wait because I want to be able to double them and then add on top of the double. Okay. So I would start longs in NVIDIA, even though I know it can go much lower than this, but not on its own. If the markets are correcting, NVIDIA can be much lower than this. And on the way down, people panic. Okay, they hit the sell button. Boop, 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 boop. I've been preaching this whole stuff for months and weeks and weeks and weeks. And last week, I hate to say it, a lot of you have suffered a lot of losses. I had one of the biggest weeks in a long time. And it wasn't by chance, it was by design. And it was painful to disseminate the message, to sound like a nervous Nelly, to be overly cautious. Even a really dear person to me yelled at me the day before the correction, told me to stop talking like that. They yelled at me. I was like, okay, so I'm telling that because there are some new people that didn't hear the message and I have to keep repeating the message. Okay. So it's not like I don't have a platform big enough to bring the market down. I'm not Jim Cramer. If Jim Cramer came out and said what I said to his people, this market would have corrected a long time ago. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Luckily, we know ahead of time the risks and we know the consequences. And the arrows were perfect on NVIDIA. Respect. I'll give you 2 levels for NVIDIA. Do not go long NVIDIA if it bounces back towards 118 if you're not already long. And if you do, definitely exit at 126 if you're a trader. Okay, 126 was the line. Huge pivot. Look at it. The orange thing. I warned people at 126. I said if it loses 126, it goes to arrow 1 or arrow 2. It came to arrow 2 and bounced. I said don't go long into 126. Look at that little squiggly white mark right there you see in the middle of my screen. That was the warning that it's going to go down intraday. Look what happened after that. And then I identified 118. Boom, 118. Roof. Boom, roof. So you get it? There's no emotions. I promise you, I'm not emotional. I get emotional, but I don't trade with any emotions. What did I do? Members, here's a funny thing. What did I do last week to control my emotions? What did I do last week to control my emotions? On Wednesday, Ahmad will talk in a minute. I cried? No. I can't cry on TV. Ain't no crying in baseball. I shorted, but how? Okay. I I made $100 bet. I bought a put for $100 on Wednesday night. I said this is a put, or Wednesday day. I said this is a put for next day in XSP, which is a version of the SPX. I said I want to short, but I'm already very short. I'm gonna get it out of my system by buying $104 put. And I said that's the put I want to buy. And if somebody bought it, the market rallied into the close on that day. They were down 40% or something like that. The next day, the markets fell out of bed. I got out for greens, and I got out early. If somebody hung on to it, they made a ton of money off of it. But I used $100 to control my emotions because I was aware I was emotional, and I didn't want to trade with emotions. So hopefully, if you join a group like ours, you will get the benefit of maturity. I promise you, we know what we're doing. On a serious note, okay, I promise you, we know what we're doing. And DXCM is one of those mystery charts. DXCM. Um, I don't know why it would fall 40% on this P&L. So you need to dig deep and find out exactly what the hell happened.
Nick, really quick here. I just want to give a big shout out to Tony, our most recent family member. He just joined here a little bit ago.
Hi, Tony. Tony, pop into the chat room, and see if you can read up and catch up with the thought process. There are 3 videos for you to watch, about 2 hours and 10 minutes worth of content of stocks. They're alphabetically ordered, and you can just go through them alphabetically. You can fast forward. Also, tonight or tomorrow morning, spend 5 minutes watching a video that I put out. It's a strategy video. That's probably the most important thing I provide. Kind of like a zoom out. What are we doing here? Are we selling rallies? Basically, our algo. Okay. What's the algorithm we're trading with? So watch that. And tomorrow, before the market opens, I will have a brief summary opening statement. So that's your to do. And say hi. Say hi so I can introduce myself and look out for you. Okay. Cisco. Cisco's okay. I was short, another trade I was long. I was short for us is Oracle, and I closed that Oracle trade last week. It was a simple buy a put. It went red, it went green, green, red, and then super, super green, and I went out. Okay, so DXCM looks intriguing. If somebody bought shares for the long term, kudos. If somebody sold puts on the way down, kudos. There's something more to it. Stocks don't fall 40% for no reason. So find out why. When you day trade long or short, what do you enter a trade pre-open pen? No, when we day trade, we are in here, we're watching the SPY. Here's how the day goes in the morning. When in the morning pre-open, we're watching the levels and we're chatting, and everybody has all the lines. I know there are a lot of lines, but this is for fast trading. And then the bell rings, and when the bell rings, when appropriate, last week it wasn't appropriate, I share iron condors, a trade for the day, and we put it up there, and I usually display it in a box here, in a box like this one. And you can see 7:30 was the last one. I didn't do one for the last 2 days, and it would look like this. And that's an opportunity for somebody to kind of trade fast, but not really have to chase price. And then for people who like to chase price, we go down to 30-second charts. Yes, 30 seconds and 15 seconds. And I talk you through it. I tell you, this looks like it's going to fail here. It looks, and I would say something like, if I was a market maker, I would pop here and then take it right back down. Trust me when I tell you that this exactly is what happens. It's extremely accurate commentary. Okay, extremely accurate. So if you're an active trader or you wanted to learn charts, this lesson is on every day, all day. If you're listening to my words and taking notes, you have the opportunity to become an excellent chartist of your own. All you have to do is just watch, listen, and ask questions. That's it. I already covered CrowdStrike. I wouldn't touch it. That's the short story. And I wouldn't add to risk if I already have it. Which puts to sell, I tell that to the, I don't have time to explain all of it. We're short on time. I usually want to avoid earnings unless I'm selling a put after the earnings. I want time on the clock, and I want levels that are solid support. I don't sell puts in stocks when stock markets are at all-time highs.
Nick, really quick, just wanted to get your insight here because I know you follow very closely, the rates, Powell, all that stuff. I wanted to get your macro view on that because there's a lot of talk about those things in particular.
Folks, we have turned into idiots. Schlumberger, we're already covered. We have turned into idiots, the collective we. I have never seen a dumber collection of humans at the same time. How is that possible that these questionably smart people in control of everything are controlling us like morons? I'm saying, I'm including myself in it. Of course, I pride myself on not being a sheep. I was wearing a t-shirt yesterday that physically said, I am not part of the sheep. So wake up, open your eyes, and turn off the financial news. They are not looking out for you. Okay. I don't say it as I'm right or I'm left. I say it as a human being. I'm smart. And they think I'm a dumbass. And I take that as an insult. Who's they? Whoever is feeding me information and whoever it is. So what do? I shut off the information, turn on my brains, and start doing some own homework. Let me tell you what my message has been. Okay. My message has been that from last year, December 12th, Powell had pressure from the White House to say whatever he needed to say to spruce up the stock market. Okay. Because consumer spending is 2/3 of the economy. 2/3 of the economy. Consumers spend when they feel rich. Consumers feels rich when their houses are high in price and their stock markets are high in price. So when you get your statement on stocks, when you look up Zillow, your house is high, you spend, you borrow and spend. Okay. Now we have had an inflation problem. In December, he told us he solved inflation, a flat out lie. What happened was we had one freaky CPI dip, and they sold us, by the way, it's manufactured data. They sold us the fact that he solved it. He went on TV, 60 Minutes or whatever show he went on, and he said words along the lines of, well, whoever the interviewer was, at least we made it so that the average American doesn't have to worry about inflation on a daily basis. And like, what are you smoking? What do you mean? So when the Fed tells you they controlled inflation, they didn't bring it down. Inflation is ever rising, ever. It always rises at a typical rate of 2%, ideally, is what they want. So he said, I brought it down from 9% to 3%, which is still 1/3 more than ideal. So what he did is he stopped the explosion in inflation. He made it increase at a slower pace than before, but it's still increasing, one, faster than normal, and two, just flat out increasing. So we are still paying prices that are 20 to 25% more than 2 years ago, maybe less. Therefore, they fed us a lie about inflation and everybody gobbled up. In December, they said they're going to cut rates. In March, I said I would wear a pink tutu and dance in the street if he's going to cut rates in March, and I extended it to May. Of course, I don't own a pink tutu, nor do I need to buy one. It's not going to happen. So now, for a fact, they tell us that he's going to cut twice in September. So I'm offering you this. This is the macro scary point. Why the fudge is the VIX now overnight double than what it was? This doesn't happen without an event. There was no event from Thursday to Friday. The VIX went from 15.9 to 29.8 or something. So from 16 to 30 overnight. Do you know what the VIX is? And let me tell you why this is important. The VIX definition is it's a mathematical representation of the prices of the options a month out. not now. What happens in a month? In a month, the Fed's going to cut or not cut a quarter or half. So what if when the Fed event happened, everybody in my room, I didn't listen to what the Fed said. Not one, I didn't listen to anything. No, see, nothing. I didn't read. I said, don't tell me anything. Okay. I don't want to know what the Fed wants to do or tells us what to do because clearly they're lying to us. So why do I want to listen? And, but you guys tell me, and that they committed to cutting 50 bips in September. Okay. What if after the message, after the message has come out, Powell said to somebody he knows, holy crap, how did they get that? I didn't say that. We don't plan on cutting in September. What if that happened, the conversation, and somebody in the money, all these put and call sellers a month out are saying, oh my God, they know this, and they think that the market's going to fall on that disappointment. That's one explanation. The other explanation is we have a conflict that's going to escalate between now and then. Either way, I'm not happy. I'm from Lebanon. I grew up in Beirut. My mother still lives there. And the bombing that just happened was downtown Beirut. And I know there's always skirmishes in the Middle East and in Lebanon, but never downtown, not in a long time, downtown Beirut. So that's serious stuff. It's a change in behavior over in that area. So maybe that conflict is ready to explode somehow. I hope not. But just throwing things out. And so what I said is the VIX is telling us something that the government is not. So stay alert. I stayed short. I booked a lot of puts. I left all of my bear call spreads running because they're all healthy and winning. And on rallies, I will reach short. I don't know what, but I will reach short. So as long as the VIX is this high, I'm giving you what not to do in the stock market. I wouldn't buy the dip assuming we're going to make a higher high. This dip might be different. And if you remember, you will have a video from me tonight. I will spend 3 hours making it in order to make it 5 minutes with a very clear message. That's really tough to do, I promise you. The shorter the video, the harder it is because I can ramble on for hours and get nobody's attention, or I can give you 4 or 5 minutes to get everybody's attention and drive home 1 or 2 important points and give up on the other points. I have so much to say. We don't have enough time. So there is a lot of stuff going on in the market that you need to respect. We don't know what we don't know. My answer to my friends, I raised the alarm with my friends and I scared the bejesus out of them on purpose because I know they don't listen to me. And hopefully now they're going to think 3 times before they buy something. So, job accomplished. Missing out. Get rid of the fear of missing out. Okay, and enjoy missing out. Somebody in the group called it JOMO, the joy of missing out. Sometimes you miss out and you say, it's okay. Yeah, ignore the FOMO. All right. So let's go back to talk to answer specific questions. I've answered a lot of the recent tickers that you guys dropped, and I'm scrolling back up. The XCM, we discussed it. I wouldn't add any risk to any stock. If I own stock, this is a blanket statement. Some of you are asking. If I'm long, CrowdStrike, whatever company, I would never add if I took a full-size position. So that should be the answer. No, flat out. I would not add right now if I had a partial position. I don't have enough downside for me to add to my risk, including great companies like NVIDIA. If you're stuck long NVIDIA above 126, you made your bed. You're going to have to live with it. At least you picked a good company. It may take a long time to get your money back. It may take 2 weeks or a long time. At least you picked a good company. Just next time, listen to the advice of you can't chase. You can't chase. And here's the biggest reason that people chase. I'm in it for the long term. It's an investment, Nick. You're making my point. If it is an investment, where's the freaking fire? People always see it's an investment. It's okay to be down. Why is it not okay to be missing out? If you're okay, minus 10%, why are you not okay, plus 10% miss out? I'm just saying. If you're in a long-term investor, just get the itch out. Get your $100 out, like I did with my $100. The $100 got the itch out. I was like, okay, I bought a put. I'm walking away from it. I mentally checked out from that itch. And if I was like dying to get long Nvidia, I would have bought 5 shares and just for I was like, I'm in with 5 shares. I'm good. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm not going to scroll all the way back up. If you had something important, you can put it in there. Pop quiz. Let's see if we can do a pop quiz. Um, Pop quiz. Think, Nick. Think. Oh, oh. On options. On options. What happened? It happens to me. It happened to me within the last 2 weeks. I owned a silver put, SLV put. I owned an SLV put on a Friday, and I was traveling that day. And I thought the put was at 26 and it was at 27. And the stock closed at 26.80 or something like that. I bought a put that expired that Friday. And that Friday, when the bell rang, the SLV was below my put by like 20 or 30 cents. What did I wake up with on Monday? Let's go. What did I wake up with? Somebody says the stock. Shares. Oh, so Rick says minus 100 shares. Nothing? Paul is wrong. Not possible? It is possible. No, Tari. Okay, Rick was right. I woke up with a position of minus 100 shares, a headache. Actually, I woke up with greens. I woke up with a position of minus 100 shares, which means I was assigned a short position. Why? Think about it. So here's a lesson for you. I hid, yes. No covered, no. I have minus 100 shares. If I owned shares, I woke up without my shares. Okay, so what happens? When you buy a put, let's say you bought a $532 put here, and then price went to here and the bell rang. You bought a put. You should have closed it because somebody sold the put, the other side. They got assigned shares after the hours because price was below it. They automatically get assigned their shares. Well, you're the other side of that trade. You have to deliver those shares. So even though you bought the put and you had the right but not the obligation, but once the bell rings, you're no longer of control. Everybody's obligated to live up to their bets. So next time you own a put close to the bell, close it on expiration day. Expiration day. They can't do it for you unless the bell rings. So if it was a Wednesday and price was below it, there's no chance of assignment if I bought the put. But everybody gets assigned if the bell rings and price has breached that strike. So I was long the $27 SLV put, and price was at 26.8. I can't remember exactly on when the bell rang. So I woke up short the shares at 27, which means in my account I had a position minus 100 SLV shares per contract. Let's assume I only had one. And I woke up, the SLV had gapped down to like 26.3. So what did I do? Again, I got assigned at 27, 100 shares. Okay. The stock gapped down. So if I just covered my 100 minus shares at the open, I would have paid 26.30 to cover. So I got assigned at 27 short. That means money went into my account. This is the resulting trade. And now I'm short 100 shares. I need to buy them back to cover at 26.30. I had profits. I bought the shares to cover. Yep. Yeah. So that's the situation. So the moral lesson is don't let anything expire in the money unless you know exactly what you're doing. I bought it at 26.30, 31 or 32. The bell the bell rang and it was 26.80. Therefore, I got assigned at 27. But then when the market opened, now the market could have opened and it at 28, and then I would have lost money because I need to buy it at 28 to cover my shorts. In case you don't know, traditional people, how they short. Let's say I wanted to short um, NVIDIA at 100. So what I do is I borrow shares and I sell them, and $100 per share goes into my account. But on my books, I would have a position of minus 100 shares. So if I'm right and NVIDIA falls to 80, I cover my position by returning my 100 shares. But I would only need to buy them at 80 and I return them. But if NVIDIA rallies to 150, I have to buy them at 150 to return the shares. Covering means you have to buy the shares to return them. That is how traditional shorts work. Well, when you buy a put and you don't close it and the bell rings and the put is in the money, there are repercussions. Don't let them die. And if you're not sure, guess what? I know a place where you can go ask. Can you tell me a place where you can go ask? The first person that does it gets a hat. No, I don't have any hats to give. Here, exactly. Yes, in the inner circle. Yes, buy yourself a hat and charge it to the account. Rodrigo, give him the credit card. Okay. Oh, these dad jokes are silly. They're off the chain in the room. The dad jokes. Is that a poor man covered call? No, it is not. Why do you guys? That's another sign of being a pandemic trader. A poor man covered call. Can anybody tell me what a poor man covered call is called for grown up traders? Rick, no. Synthetic, well, maybe, yeah. It is a spread, but what is it called? What type of a spread? Rick S. Again, he got it wrong the first time. Rick got it. It's called the diagonal or it is a covered call, but what type? Calendar. It's either a calendar or a diagonal. You guys want to do another lesson? This is the that happens every day, all day, every day, all day. This stuff that happens. Okay. Um, the poor man covered call. All right. Here's the scenario of the poor man's covered call, which is called a diagonal or a calendar. Much easier to say. All right. If I buy a call at 5:33 out in time, I can sell a call at 5:33 closer in time to make a spread. That's called a calendar. A calendar. I buy this one and I sell this one. Why is it called a calendar? This one is out in time, let's say 50 days until the expiration. This one is, 4 days or 5 days or 0 days until expiration. So that is a calendar. I'm jumping calendars. Okay, so that's a calendar. There's another version of it. I still buy this one 50 days out. I still jump calendars and I move levels. So instead of it being called a calendar, now it's called a diagonal. Look at it, it goes diagonally. You can also do it lower, but that requires skill. Okay. That's a poor man covered call, either of those two. I don't know why they call it that. It's so much more words. Poor man covered call. Okay, so the question is, what is a naked put? How about we say, what is a naked? Naked anything in options. If somebody says, I bought a naked put, I bought a naked call, I sold a naked put, I sold a naked call, means they don't own any shares. They don't have any shares, naked. It's the options trade stands on its own. If I bought a naked put, the only way I can profit is if price drops. Only one scenario brings me money. Okay. If I bought a put and I own shares, I'm buying myself protection. So naked put, if I sell a naked put it means I'm committing to somebody that I will buy their shares lower. It's a great way of going long good stocks when they're falling into good supports. I make so much money off this. Is if I had a choice of doing one thing for the rest of my life, that would be it. That's it. Sell strong puts in excellent stocks after everybody pooping their pants and deciding that, oh my gosh, I can't see another red day ever. They've had enough of the correction. That's when I jump in. I always give the easiest one. I'll give you AMD. AMD during the pandemic, April, March, it started to fall and then it bounced and then it fell again lower. Well, the first time it fell, I sold puts. And the second time it fell, I sold puts. I'd like you to guess at what level people bought puts from me. By the way, if you want to get into the live room, here I'm going to give you a cheat sheet. I don't know what Rodrigo has been saying, but text him or call him. If it goes to voicemail or whatever, that means he's already talking to someone. I would think a text will get you in because this way he has your number, and he has ways to get on board with the program that are off the books, so to speak. So if there's the cheapest way of getting into our program, the best way, text him. Rodrigo, if you can hear me, I know you're on the phone, but can you put your phone number here? Back to that. 40. Okay, so Rick says 40. Thank you. Rick says 40. AMD, I sold puts. And let me add to it, they paid me more than $2 both times, more than $2. And they were shorter dated puts, like within 3 months of expiration. How about 20? The lowest put I sold during the pandemic was at $20, and somebody paid me $2.20 for it, which means I broke even. If they assigned me shares, I would have broken even at under $18 on that last batch. That is somebody panicking. $18 on AMD. Can you imagine? They panicked. They didn't know what was coming. Yeah. And they're probably the same people buying it a couple of weeks ago up in the stratosphere. Okay. So selling puts into good companies at crisis times is one of the best way to make money. Then email him, Rizwan. Email him. He also put his email. I can tell you one thing, somebody that's in charge of marketing never ignores an email. So you can send them an email. Here's Giodi. I sold a naked put on Tesla 80 October. I bought when Tesla was at 160 and lower. So you made money, you're telling me. Okay. Long puts can be assigned only on expiration. Correct. When it expires, if you don't close your put and it's in the money, you will be assigned. I guarantee it. You will be assigned. Hi, Marco. Even, let's see here. Let's do a couple more takers. Okay, don't leave it open for a penny. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. Oh my God. I told you, SLB, I've done already, Bill. We've done that. SoFi, if you're a member, Aziz, are you a member? I have Aziz. If you're a member, I did it on the video. Palantir, Susie, are you a member? I did it on the video. Aziz is not a member. SoFi, I can answer without a chart. If you're looking to invest, okay, you can nibble. If you're already long, don't do anything. Everybody wants SoFi when it's rallying. Nobody wants it when it's falling. SoFi, I'm worried. I'm worried about consumer spending and lending, and they're at the forefront of both things. So I've gone long for SoFi for us every time we made money. The cheapest one was under $5. We sold like 475 puts or whatever. So below 6, I'm on board. Don't add. Apple, I wouldn't touch. I wouldn't touch. That's a loser company. I'll explain to you later. Great company, but a loser company, and I'll tell you why in a minute. TLT is in a breakout, Vicky. You got to know what you're doing. Pop in. I can't cover it here. The TLT is in a breakout with much, much higher levels. But if it does happen, that means the market is in shambles, the stock market. That means if the TLT actually fulfills its upside target, and it's significant, that means we have multiple rate cuts, not just two, not three, not four, probably five, six, or seven rate cuts, which means our economy went into the shitter. That's what it means. Excuse my French, but that is real. Palantir going into earnings. So flip a coin, and if it falls after the earnings, I will jump on it. FAZ, I don't trade that. I think that's financials. If it's a financial short, you should have trimmed. Let's look at FAZ. I don't know what that is. Why do I want to say finance? Yep, it is. So, woo-wee, if you were on board with this one, I'm short financials all over the place, and I took them off last week, except for Goldman Sachs. Okay, so I'm on board with you, Angel. But if you're just starting to short, no, short the rally. If FAZ bounces, uh, sorry, let me see here. Short the rally in the financials. So if FAZ falls into the base from which you bought, get in. I don't start shorting based on this chart now. If I have longs in FAZ, I would have trimmed. And if you wanted to leave some on, you can. But trim, block. If you're not long yet, wait for a red day in FAZ, which means a green day in the financials. I just want to be clear with what I'm saying. CMG going lower. I don't see the future, but I can tell you what not to do with it. I don't see the future, but I'm pretty darn good with the charts. So you should have gone long CMG on this dip here. In my prior life, I was an FP&A for restaurants. So I managed the books, not didn't manage the books. I did financial planning and analysis for over 400 restaurants at one point. And so I know a P&L of a restaurant. This company has no equivalent in the restaurant business. So very respectable. Now, the concern is this long wick from the earnings. This tells me that 60 is a roof for a long, long time for the stock. If they lose 49, they probably go to 44. So when you ask me, is it going lower? I don't know. But I tell you, if it loses 49, it's going to 44. And I would not go long into this long candle. So you could convince me to sell puts or put spreads to generate income. You can't convince me to buy shares yet. If I'm long, I'm not adding. If I'm looking to get long, I will take less than one half of my position and I will add the other half if the market's correct and it falls below 45. That's CMG. I just gave you a full workup on it. Apple buy puts at 200. JD, I don't mind it, but use a okay. Ideally, if you can do it from 227, like if it pops next week and it gets to 226 or higher, get short then. Maybe sell a call spread, buy a put. Split your risk. Okay. So when I buy a put, I need a drop to make money. Split your risk. Buy a put. Let's say you wanted to risk $1,000. Buy $600 worth of puts and sell one credit call spread that brings you $100 or something like that. This way you would risk $1,000 in total. So this way, a part of your trade does not need a drop to win. Selling a call spread requires nothing to win. So yeah, I don't mind it. How about IMPP? I don't know what IMPP. Let's go with LNG. I know LNG. Okay, so Cheniere, if Cheniere loses 174, it goes to 168. I don't know if that helps you trade it. It's not a forecast, but it's like right there. And earnings are in 4 days. If you're a member, come to me before the earnings. Maybe I have clues from you from the options. AT&T, are you asking me? I can't stand that company services. I would not belong AT&T at these levels. Look at this P&L. The sales keep going down and down and down. I have a feeling, are they selling assets? Like, are they closing? Whoa. Okay, so maybe I want to short this guy if it's cheap to short. Yeah, I would not be long AT&T. If it pops to 2050, I would short with a stop. When I say short, I don't mean sell the company short. I mean like buy a few puts. ARM, I would sell puts to own shares. ARM has got a peculiar P&L. They sell ideas. They don't sell things. So they have they have a gross margin line that will make people go, "What?" but it's falling into support. When ARM came into an IPO, I said, let's buy some shares at 53 or 52 or something like that. They fell a little bit and then they exploded. And then I exited somewhere in the middle of the 70s, and then it went to high heaven, and then it fell. And somewhere here, I don't remember where, we went long again by selling puts, and we never were assigned, and then it did this. So I would sell puts in ARM. In fact, I may have sent a trade out on this one. If not, well, if you remember, you can see it. I did that. So yeah, ARM, I would buy it lower. So I would sell puts now into the trade. In case you don't know what ARM does, they sell designs. So you have chip manufacturing companies, fab companies, and you have fabless companies. I think NVIDIA is a fabless company. Intel isn't. Intel is probably a hybrid. Maybe AMD is also a hybrid. So what ARM does, and I think the one with Snapdragon, they sell, this one sells designs. So if you want structure for your chips, that's what they do. And in case you don't know, Apple major shift was to ditch Intel to ARM. I don't know the full story, but I think that's the summary. Is that Apple switched from logic of Intel chips. This, what is it, M4 chip is ARM chip, very efficient, very powerful. That's why Intel is sucking wind right now. Meta is a fraud. How is it a fraud? I'll tell you how it is a fraud. You really want to know how it is a fraud? Because I said those words. Meta is a fraud. So I'm a user of Meta in the sense where I scroll, and I had two Facebook accounts, which is also Meta, and I didn't use either, and they were both fake. I used fake names, and they let me do it. And I'm pretty sure they counted me in their metrics. So I think they're overstating their metrics, although I can't prove that. But here's what I can prove: two things that are fraudulent. One, I bought maybe four things out of Meta advertisements. Like if something pops up as an advertiser, buy this microphone here, and I buy this particular microphone, this one right here. I don't know if you can see it. It's by a company called Shure, Shure, very famous microphone company. All the podcasters have the big fat one. Well, I have it here somewhere. This one, okay? This one, dynamic mic. So this is what the podcasters have, like Joe Rogan stuff, like this guy. Okay. So I went to this guy because it's smaller and it's not in my face, and I'm looking at my screen. I'm talking into it all day. So off of Meta, the result was a flat out fake of it, fake plastic. This is metal. This is what they use in Hollywood, and it was complete fake. And that seller is on Meta. I ordered shoes. They were not what I ordered. I ordered a jacket. It was not what I ordered. And when you get it and you respond and you send an email, you get the automatic bot that says, "Oh, we're sorry about that. How about a 5% discount?" And if you say, "No, that's not good enough," "Oh, how about a 20% discount?" Automated bots, all of them use the same words, very similar words. And the most recently, it was a piece of luggage that came, it was junk, absolute junk. So when I said, they said, "Oh, how about a 5% discount?" I said, "If your next answer to that, how about a 20% discount? I'm I'm going to charge back my card and all of that." So then they sent me an RMA for returns, but I still have to pay for my return. And these are sellers. I also bought something that was advertised as a real thing, and I got it, and it was a fake thing. Fraud. So they let advertisers defraud their users. Okay, that's one side. Let's flip it. I'm also an advertiser on Meta, whereas I sometimes make a video and I pay for it. So that's like $3 or $5 a day. Okay, and they give you statistics on it. I swear to you, I was looking at my screen with somebody next to me, and they were actually pushing on my phone. And one time, I had one that had like 170,000 views, so it was a substantial number of views. And a, a bar chart came up on my screen that shows where the clicks are coming from. 98% of them came from one city in India. It was like about this long, a bunch of H's and K's. I'm going to Google the area in order to come up with the name of that city and see if there is a physical office for Meta in there. Because there is no way that I have that many interest from one city in India. Out of 150,000, 180,000, 98% of them come from there. And then they tell me I had, so many click-throughs and whatever from that same city. And I cannot recover that bar chart. I don't know where to get that bar chart again. We've spent hours and hours. The next day or two, I read a news story that says Meta being sued for defrauding. Like they're pumping up their metrics to their advertisers. So I'm not crazy out of my mind. That company is out and out fraud. They are defrauding their clickers. They are defrauding their advertisers. I have proof of two of them. I don't have proof of the metrics of like how many active accounts they have. I don't have proof of that. I have a feeling, but I have proof that the products you buy, you're not going to get what you pay for. You're probably going to get a fake. For example, I dare you. Have you seen the battery charger for cell phones, the credit card one that looks like an American Express? Yeah. It costs about $80 everywhere else. On Meta, you can buy it for $40. I dare you to go buy it. Go buy it. Go buy it, and you tell me what you get. Also, the Temu buys. I know people that you get a jump drive that says it's a terabyte drive for like a fraction of the cost of all the other drives. It's like, why are you so cheap? Okay. So you take that terabyte drive and you put it in your computer and you open your Explorer if you're on PC. It'll show you the properties. It shows 1 terabyte. Okay. So here's the challenge. Upload a terabyte of information onto it. Okay. It'll go. And now try to download it again. You will get a fraction of it back. Why? Because the disk is not actually a terabyte. It's telling you it's a terabyte, and the size that doesn't come back is the difference that the actual size of that terabyte is. Complete fraud. Don't buy anything off of these websites, off of Instagram. You will be defrauded. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Okay. So off of that company, the company financials are fantastic, and the price action was super good in a bad week. So now, from a trading perspective, until they get sued, look at this candle. Here's another lesson for you. Anybody know what that candle is called? The shape of that candle right there. What is that candle? And let's have a mini lesson on that one. Oh, nice, Calvin. Real classy. Hey, Calvin, don't bother joining. Don't bother joining. I guarantee you'll be pushed out. There's no need for you to join at all. Classy. It's called a doji. It is indecision. It marks indecision. So that means the stock opens and closes at the same spot. In the meantime, it rallies up and it falls down. And in this case, almost exact size, which means they're confused. They open, I love it. No, I hate it. You know what? We don't know. Let's just open let's close where we opened and we'll decide tomorrow. So this is a really important zone. So now you have a mini zone of 505 versus 470 something, and then a bigger zone of 525 versus 443. So this is no offense. It is offensive. You should have a better judgment than just spew that information in front of people. Would you say that out in the living room with adults in the room? You wouldn't say it. Why would you say it here? Because you're behind a keyboard. Classless. So that is a range where you would think that it would be there for the next couple of months. So company P&L is fantastic. I wouldn't short it because Nick thinks it's a fraud. Trade it until the trade breaks. But if I were to invest, I would not invest in this company. I would trade it to make money off of it, but I would not invest into it. Companies I wouldn't invest in, Apple or this one or Intel. Those are companies that have well, two of them have incredible P&Ls. Like Apple's P&L and financials are hard to beat. But what's going on is it's it's falling fast in the sense where all of its people, all of its friends are rallying fast past it. So the fact that it's getting past somebody look up something. One of my friends shared a chart with the group recently that showed the amount of capital expenditure that Microsoft is doing, and it's accelerating. How much money they're spending into their future. I bet you anything. I didn't check because I don't care much about Apple. What is the capex for Apple? I bet you it's stagnant and it's probably less than half of what Microsoft spends. And that's why Microsoft is eating its lunch because the CEO is just a bad CEO. He is not the right guy for this company. This company's P&L and stock has succeeded in spite of him. You could have had a chimpanzee sitting in that seat and he or it would have done just as good a job. You could have had that CEO seat empty and the stock still done a good a job. Why? Apple has the best clients on the planet, period. There is no better clientele than Apple's clients. They don't mind paying up and they believe that they're head and shoulders above the rest. You cannot ask for better clients than that. Everybody thinks that anything that is not Apple is absolute crap. Of course, that's wrong, but to have that belief is gold for a company. So this guy, imagine what the company would have done with Bezos's hands. Did you know that they have the worst of the balance sheet? Not that they have a bad balance sheet, but they have debt up the wazoo. The good kind of debt, but it's still debt. Just don't get me started. When you borrow 120 billion and you have nothing to show for except for buybacks and dividends, what a waste. If you listen to all these billionaires, they say put your assets to work, get debt and buy something that makes you money, right? Isn't that what all the billionaires say? Borrow, 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 buy businesses that make you money. What does this guy do? He borrow, and pays dividend and invests in his own company with this. Uh, what a shame. I mean, he could have bought Netflix for crying out loud. Anyway, we're coming up on an hour and 45 minutes. Let's take some tickers. How can I be long in NVIDIA with a put? You can sell a put, Brandon. You can sell a put. Okay, so let's define what it means to sell a put. Vito, what about it, Sambi? Don't give me a ticker. Tell me what, frame it, frame it. Could have bought Tesla too. There, yes, you could have. Yes, absolutely. At some point, not anymore. Okay, so if somebody buys a put, that somebody wants insurance. Listen to Brandon. If I owned 100 shares of Nvidia and I'm worried for the next 2 months, I would say to myself, I want to buy a $95 put for the next 2 months, and I'll pay you $500 for it. So in return, you're the seller of the put. In return, I got it. In return, I'm you're giving me your promise that you would buy my shares at 95 in the next 2 months regardless. So that's what it means. When you sell a put, it means you're giving me the guarantee that you will take my shares. And once the transaction happens, then now I'm in the driver's seat. I may call my broker at any point in time. Any point in time. Price does not have to be lower, but I'd be an idiot to do it. Give Brandon my shares, please. The shares will go out of my account at the price we agreed on. You wake up, you own my shares. Best advice, go out to do with that today. I don't know what that means, Vanessa. $100. Oh, what would I do with $100? I would wait. When crypto crashes down to $10, I'll buy $100 worth of crypto. Oh my God. There's no rush to invest any money right now, Vanessa. But you could nibble. And also, I have to ask, what is your goal? How long is it? Are you an investor? Are you a trader? Bunch of stuff. How to manage Tesla put 260 to close or roll. Yusuf, Do you own that put or did you sell it? I need more information. Serve. You're looking to get long on Serve? I don't know what Serve Pro. Is that Serve Pro? Serve. Yeah, I talked. If you remember, I think this was part of the chat today. It's in the video. Need return on 1,000 investment today. All right. So here's what you do. You go down to your local casino and you go to the roulette table because it pays 36x and put it on there. There's a trade on the roulette table. I forget what it was, but you basically, I think you need $500 for it. Anyway, so your roulette table is your best bet. The 500, maybe it is $100. No, I think it's the $500 that pays almost a guarantee, but you got to learn it. I forget what it was. You're basically saying avoid the edges and the zero. If you can make the trade, avoid the edges and the zero, you win 85% of the time, almost like an iron condor. You got to put some here and some there with X, either $100 or $500, and make sure to avoid the edges and the zero. But that's gambling. Yeah, you can do that. Or you can buy $100 put or $100 call and hope for the best this week. But that's gambling. That's not what I do. Looking to go long on VNQ and VRTX. I'll give you one of those two. We're not going to cover both. What is VNQ? Vanguard Real Estate. I wouldn't touch that. You have to know what's in it. I don't know what's in it. And this stock is going into a prior fail. This red W is bearish. So as long as this one is under 94, it's a better short than a long. Gold is not GDX, my friend. Rafael, gold is not GDX. I made that comment today in the video because somebody asked for GDX. If you're investing in gold, use the GLD. If you're investing in gold stocks, use the GDX. Gold stocks do not follow gold all the time. I'll give you a scenario. Last week, gold rallied, gold stocks fell.
Nick, want to give a big shout out here. Tony, Eric, Mitch, 3 recent family members that just joined here.
Again, pop into the chat room and say hi so I can tell you what to do from there. GDX, I can look at the chart, but it's not gold. If you want to trade gold, trade the GLD. If you twist my arm, I would say lower is easier for GDX. It would make a better long closer to 34. And okay, how about this? Check this out. Let's say this one falls and bounces and falls and bounces and falls and loses this. That's what it does. So I wouldn't think it's going to 30, but the closer to 33, if I wanted to go long, the better. The closer to 33, the better. In other words, if I wanted to go long, I should wait a little bit. That's about it. So let's see here. No problem. What else? Give me another ticker, but give me context, folks. I own 100 shares of NVIDIA at 120. What should I do? Okay, so Kathy, hold on. There's another lesson right there. Kathy, I see it. I see it. You don't need to answer. I see it right there. Okay, so if I would never own shares without selling covered calls. So you need to study what it means to sell a covered call. So if I owned 100 shares of NVIDIA, I can promise someone that I will sell them my shares of NVIDIA at a certain price. I'm going to give you an example. This is not a trade alert for you. Okay, just an example. Let me ask you this, Kathy. Did you buy it as an investment for the long term? You can answer that at your leisure here. You bought it at 120. Okay. So you're down a little bit. I understand it's falling. Did you want to buy more than 100 shares or 100 shares was it? And that was a good sum of money. That's a lot of money. So was it 100 shares and that was it for now, or did you Okay, so next time, please buy 50. So you can buy the next 50, $20 lower from here. This way you would be long at 100 overall. Okay. That's for next time. What you can do here with your 100 shares, you can say to someone, I'll sell you my shares for 125. On Friday, on Friday, you could have said to someone, I'll sell you my shares at 125. They would have said, here's $1,100. No joke. But then you must sell your shares at 125 between now and December. So what does the math for you? You would make $1,100 roughly, which is not too bad. 10% return, whatever, 8% return on your money, air math. And that's the worst case scenario. And if it continues falling, you just bought yourself protection through 98 ish. So if next week NVIDIA rallies, think about selling a covered call, not 125. You can sell it higher if NVIDIA rallies. Remember, NVIDIA has earnings coming. Okay. AZO. AZO. Oh, dang. I don't know how this company is in business. Yeah, I would not touch it up here. Uh, hold on for a second. I will check when I'm done with the webinar. Sorry, real life stuff right here. Exxon is debatable. I don't know what your goal is with Exxon. This is too high for me. If you twist my arm, I would expect down is easier than up on AutoZone. My son is in the business. He's a fabricator. He likes to build race trucks, desert trucks, pre-runners. Um, I don't know how they're in business from a professional standpoint. When he goes into AutoZone, it's wow. To be honest, why does gold stock fall when gold goes up? I didn't say that, Ken. And what's with the big caps? That's not what I said. Listen to my words. I said, if gold goes up, it's not necessary that gold stocks go up because gold stocks are stocks and they will follow the stock market. Case in point, Friday, the stock market was falling, gold stocks were falling, gold was not necessarily falling. Microsoft falling into support. They flashed the low to 389 on that freak out low, but I think that's a liar low. So if Microsoft loses 400, it could lose another 12 to $18. The market has to be falling as well. It won't do it alone. So you could sell naked puts in Microsoft if you wanted to own shares, or alternatively, you could sell credit put spreads. I want to warn you, I don't sell naked puts left and right when markets are at all-time highs. Markets are still at all-time highs. What do you mean, Nick? Look at the pain. Okay, let me give you a visual of where the markets are, okay? Tell me we're not at an all-time high. By the way, this red W is a harmonic. A harmonic on a monthly basis. Every candle is one full month. Okay. So this is how August is starting. July was green. It was a doji too. So this W, target one is 4,900. Target two is 4,330. Target three is somewhere around 3,850. Just to give you, this is the SPX, by the way. It's not a forecast. Like I wouldn't buy a put for it. I'm just saying that we haven't even started falling on a higher time frame. Okay, this is a weekly chart right there. So we've had 3 red weeks. Big deal. We haven't even started falling. These markets are still near all-time highs. If I'm selling puts left and right in stock A, stock B, stock C, I may love stock A and stock B and stock C, but I may be called upon buying all 3 of them at the same time. Oof, that might be a lot. So don't be selling naked puts left and right. Be very, very, very selective with selling naked puts. Start with a credit put spread. Do you make more money selling regular whole stock shares or via options? So The most money you can make is if you buy a put or buy a call and then the stock goes your way. You make a lot of money really quickly, but that's also the fastest way of losing money. So I prefer selling. Like if somebody thinks that this stock is going to 6,000 by in the next couple of months, I'll sell them a call. If somebody thinks this is going to 2,000, I'll sell them a put. I'll do both. I'll take money from that guy over there and that girl over there. So I prefer selling. I don't make a lot of money. Like I make 12 to 25%, but I can't make 120% by selling. The accelerator of 120% on is done by buying things, because you need to generate alpha. You need a run in that direction. Like I do every once in a while. I've had a whole bunch of puts pay me more than 100% this last week, but I prefer selling, because if it was me and I'm not helping people all day, I want to do stuff that doesn't allow me to sit at the computer, that doesn't require me to sit at the computer. I want to sell puts in panic to somebody panicking and walk away and go skiing, for example. Market top and it falls from here. Some are saying you see anything like this. Market top and it falls from here. Some are saying you see anything like this. Do I confer? You clearly are not a member, because that's all I've been saying. That this here is not an entry point to anything right now. There's nothing I'm rushing to buy right now. Nothing. Okay. There are no bargains up here. Now it's a little bit better, but I don't know what that is. Stem Christie. Ken, what's with the capital letters? What is that, Stem Christie? If we're going into a recession, would you go defensive staples? No, I wouldn't go anything. Those would be the last stocks I would buy. McDonald was a buy when it was lower. Now it's not. KO is a short. If you ask me to trade KO right now, I'll buy a put in KO. Snow, please. No. Okay. Ken, I'm not answering any of your questions right now. You don't answer my questions. I don't answer your questions. XPO Logistics. Okay, let's look at XPO. Okay, let's go to daily. This is another conundrum. What's with that? That's shortable for me. I would not be long XPO up here. Look at the P&L. They're going out of business? What the hell? Okay, so annual, they got a big haircut in revenues. Quarterly, it doesn't look like it, but that's pretty bizarre. I need to know more about it, but there's no way I'm going long XPO up here. Whoa, dang. Yeah, that's snackalicious. So if it goes up to 132, 130, 120 or higher, I'm going to put an alert. Wake me up. Might be a decent short. I wouldn't be long this stock from an investment perspective. Trading wise, you have a strong buyer below and a strong seller above. So if you want smaller time frames, I think if you lose 97, you accelerate lower. And I don't think you can take out 124. So it's shortable into 114 and 119 or higher, shortable. So this is target 3 of that red W. The red W, I think this is exactly target 3. Well, a little bit short of target 3. Target 3 was 102, 102.2, and they came to 102.98. That's pretty close. EEM is all about Chinese stocks. I don't touch that. If you look at Baidu, Baidu is in trouble, and Baba is tradable, but I don't do either, because there's a mystery which is called China politics. I don't know what's going on in there, so I don't trade the EEM anymore. How do they follow the U.S. market? You remember? I don't know if you're old enough, you guys, that they used to say if the U.S. Sneezes, everybody catches a cold. Yeah, I think that's still true. We everything comes out of the U.S. that everybody wants to buy, and we're pretty much the biggest consumers on the planet as well. So it's a pretty strange thing, but there is no way on planet Earth that our market's correct and other markets don't. That's not going to happen. The Nikkei was down 6% on Friday. That's the Japanese market. 6% in one day. That is significant. So whatever happens in the U.S. happens everywhere. Plus, you got to know Why is it happening? I told you already a scary scenario in the US, right? That maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. Speculation on my part, but what if it is correct? In case you didn't know, this is something that's going to sound boastful, but on the 10th of July, I sent out a chart on the VIX. I said by July 24th, the VIX might be at 16, and the VIX at the time was under 13. So I said buy VIX calls, and that trade more than doubled. And but to be able to say to the day when it's going to hit the fan, and then it did. And also, there are a couple people in our group that are GAN experts. In case you don't know what GAN is, it's a guy. He's the most successful trader on record ever. And he did it when they didn't have computers to do it. So he did it all by hand. I don't subscribe to his methods, but they said that 8-2 was going to be pretty scary. Weeks ago, they gave you a date of August 2nd, which was Friday, and they said it's going to be scary. That's freaking phenomenal, right? So they use astrology and whatever, but that's freaking impressive. So my take is that something happened last week and we may know what it is down the line. So just be aware that the you know what could hit the fan. No. It's just I know this time it's different. It might not be just like 2008 and whatever. China has a big problem. I know that for a fact. Economical problem, but they don't have to tell anybody. They can cover it up. We will never know. So Asian markets, are we talking China? Are we talking Japan? Nikkei was down 6% on Friday. So if you want to trade the Nikkei, I forgot the ticker here, NKE.